suppose there's not too much to say after watching the rain fall for a few hours, but if I could just ask you first about Ollie Pope's innings and how it sort of steadied the ship for England's batting.
Look, I thought he was fantastic today. Our kind of mantra of trying to put the opposition under pressure. He did that brilliantly today. I thought he was composed. He looked busy at the crease, and on a wicket that was obviously giving him quite a lot of assistance, he got us into a position at the end of the day's play where we, not necessarily out of the game, but he's batted exceptionally well and shown a lot of skills. So hopefully, he can get himself back in tomorrow and then get us into a position where we can see where we are in the game. And I guess we won't know that until we've bowled on that same surface.
And what's the overall feeling? Lost a few wickets, but actually went quite quickly and managed to put on a decent score. So what's the overall feeling?
Yeah, look, I think I think everybody's clear on how we're going to go about our batting. That's not going to change. So we're not always going to get it 100% right. And, I thought at times today we soaked up pressure. And at times we put the pressure back on the bowlers. And the one thing when you're on wickets with a lot of assistance, you don't want a bowler just thinking he can put the ball in the same area and he's going to get results. You're going to have to try to find ways where you can get them to change lengths, knowing that if they do miss the line of lengths, that they're going to be punished. And as I said, we're not always going to get it right. So it would have been nicer to come off today maybe 3 or 4 down. But to lose that wicket before lunch, the ball before lunch would hurt us quite badly. But we've been in this position before. I think that's another thing that this team is really clear about is we've got some excellent bowlers in that dressing room that can exploit favourable conditions for bowlers, and we'll obviously get as many as we can tomorrow, and then the exciting part is seeing how we can make inroads into to getting wickets on there.
And lastly from me, we saw Broad take one to his shoulder. Is everything all right there?
Yeah, he seems fine. Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's looking forward to going out there, being pretty aggressive with the bat tomorrow, and he's 100% fine.
Will and then we'll do Mel.
Paul, obviously the overheads made it a good day for bowling, but is the sense that there's a bit of a pitch as well? It's quite a tricky pitch for batting.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious that there's it's not just the swing, but there's quite a bit of sea movement. It was quite a humid day, wasn't it? And that wicket's sometimes, I guess it's hard to read. I bet both teams wanted a bowl this morning, but I guess when you're playing shots and you're trying to put the opposition under pressure, you will lose wickets at times, and there's certainly a lot in that wicket, and I'm certainly looking forward to, if that wicket plays exactly the same tomorrow, I'm certainly looking forward to our bowlers making inroads.
And clearly you always want as many as you can, but given the circumstances, is there kind of a score that you guys have in mind that would be kind of acceptable? Obviously, in that first test for summer, 140 in the first innings was a winning score at the end, sort of. Yeah,
look, I think we just make sure that these guys have a very, very similar attitude tomorrow, and when you have an attitude like that to go out and be aggressive, then there's no ceiling. So we get what we get, kind of attitude, and then we'll see what position we're in come the end of day tomorrow night. So we don't really kind of have totals that we desperately need to get to or anything like that. So we'll just see what we get.
Paul, just there, obviously you talked about the conditions and the pitch. Just wondering how you see this South African attack. Like, it was one of the challenges that really are facing the amount of variation they've got as far as left arm, right arm seam, swing. I think Nortje is the fastest probably that England have faced this summer.
Yeah, I mean, we've been questioned, I guess, in the past of us having an aggressive approach with the bat in English conditions, and I think we've come up against, before South Africa, we've come up against two very skillful bowling lineups in New Zealand and India, which themselves have got huge variation and a very good pace at times as well. So they're always going to get tested. And this is the exciting thing about how we're trying to go about our batting is we're going to have to find ways to keep pushing the boundaries, being expressive, and being entertaining. You know, that's how we want to play the game. And as I said, it's not always going to come off for us, but the end product is, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't win the game of cricket, and it's only day one.
John, Chris, and then we'll do Julian's finish.
Colin, you say that you're always looking to push the boundaries, be aggressive. But I mean, today, maybe Lees, maybe Bairstow, but generally the batsmen were got out, weren't they? Rather than, got out by being ultra aggressive.
Yeah, there was a few good balls in there, and when you've got skillful bowlers at high pace, they're going to bowl wicket-taking balls. So we're not going to worry too much about what's gone on today. As I said, I think the exciting part is we get as many runs we can tomorrow, and then see what our world-class bowlers ourselves can do on that pitch. So it should be a good test match.
Chris?
Paul, one of those good balls had Zach Crawley's name on it today. He's had a tough summer. What's the sense in the dressing room about his position? There's obviously going to be speculation about whether he should be in the team or not, but do you back him for the rest of this series? Is that the kind of mentality in the dressing room, that you back guys when they're having a tough time? Yeah,
the messaging is very clear with Zach. We don't necessarily look for consistency with Zach. It's about match-winning performances and being able to do special things. And only I guess one innings ago they had a 100 partnership against India to chase down over 350. So we don't forget about those kind of contributions in our dressing room. And they are huge contributions into winning games of cricket. So, he's got a lot of talent. We know that, and I'm sure he's frustrated he's not getting more runs. But certainly in the dressing room ourselves, we're confident that he can turn things around and have those match-winning contributions.
Last one, Julian.
Yeah, sorry. Just on Ollie Pope. The way he played today, sort of 60-odd of 80-odd balls, I mean, is that the kind of, sort of way you can sort of balance sort of attacking play against a quality attack whilst also scoring at a decent rate? You don't necessarily have to go absolutely hell for leather because, they're good enough to score at that sort of rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about soaking up pressure when you need to. But at times you're going to have to apply pressure when the bowler misses his mark, and sometimes it's when he misses his mark by a long way, and make sure that you're in a position to put that ball away. But as you saw, like early on, he used his feet and went across to the line of the ball to clip it through the mid-wicket. And what I'm trying to say is that you have to find ways when the pitches are in favourable conditions to the bowlers is to get them off line and length, because they will sit in there all day if you allow them to do that, and they will take wickets as well if you allow them to do that. So the game's about scoring runs, and it's finding the best options to try to score runs, and I thought he did that fantastically today. Any width he seemed to put away really well, and he's looking more comfortable in that number 3 position.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, Colin.
Thank you.